Hello and good afternoon or evening, as the case might be, for today's Group A, a Link to the Past randomizer tiebreaker action. It's a winner-go-home matchup today, as SirLinkalot and WillardJBradley will face off to decide who will move on to the brackets and who, well, I guess they're not exactly going home, they're already at home, but you get the idea. But nonetheless, a high-stakes match all the same. And we are excited to bring this to you today. I'm ProA007, very happy to be joining you, and joining me on the mic today is 329th in line. Welcome.
Thank you so much, ProA. Happy to be here. And with those high stakes, as you mentioned, we're going to be in for an intense race, and having those webcams just kind of doubles down the excitement. Get to see the expressions as these players are going to go ahead, dig through this giant puzzle of Hyrule and see who can put the pieces together faster.
Sure. So what kind of item set do you think we're going to get off the bat here?
That's always a good question. Always fun to speculate. I know chat usually calls for a ped seed, but I'm not that mean. I'd like to see some early Dark World access. I'd like to see it open up and get a lot of routing divergence and see how it comes together.
I think for the first time since I've been doing this, we actually have both of them starting at Link's house. And we got a quick map check, and we have blue crystals at Eastern Desert and Hera. So that might make things interesting. Might make certain items not required here, depending on how the pendant breakdown goes.
Yeah, and we see as Willard J's heading over to the Eastern Palace area, we're getting that kind of front of us, that uncle check, not quite the full front of escape over here on SirLinkalot's side.
Unless he pulls an offensive, he pulls a sword here. No, but he gets a lot. He steals money from a dead person, so there is that. And
But we are going to see that first lift upgrade in the back of Sahasrah's closet.
And a shovel on top of that.
Early enough on that you just go ahead and get that out of the way, I'd imagine, pretty soon.
So Linkalot won't have to worry about bombs. Willard gets a bomb dig. Very nice. He's going to check back of escape.
Just a single arrow at Bonk Rocks. These are, if you're just joining this tournament, this is open boots mode. So both runners are going to start with the boots. Helps move them around the map a little faster, but it also gives us access to that King's Tomb. Not King's Tomb to the gloves, but the Bonk Rocks and that library ledge, which sometimes can troll runners.
Yeah. So we got an ether tablet on the back of escape, which is an interesting find. And in the I didn't see what was it, lumberjack.
That was such a quick check. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's like not even blink and you'll miss it. You're just gonna miss it.
Well, I hope he saw it.
I'm sure he did, but
And a nice grab of the blue mail in the Lost Woods. That's gonna cut back on some of the damage.
Somebody left a perfectly good pair of clothes down there, and we got a baby sword.
Always feels good not to have to hold out for that first sword.
Yeah. Take two. Okay, just bombs.
And SirLinkalot going to spend some money on the bottle vendor, but it's just a bad return on investment today.
Yeah, for 20 bucks on 20 bucks out of 100, you know. Wow. A Master Sword, not even 5 minutes in.
Early Master Sword, getting a little nervous. Maybe see a cape and a lantern.
Yep. Yeah, just a lantern, and that does put Aga into play here potentially.
Ooh, and there's our Moon Pearl in the chicken hut. So with that first lift upgrade and a Moon Pearl, we're just a hammer away from Dark World access or another lift upgrade from Dark World access.
Yeah. So we're in Blind's hideout now.
Willard, no doubt, going to build up his bottle vendor money.
We got a drug deal fetch quest. We got a couple of fetch quests in our future with the shovel and the mushroom. So not exactly easy route. Not exactly an easy way to route both of them together, but nonetheless quite interesting.
And as we're seeing our runners, kind of cover each other's steps here in Kakariko, I think it's interesting, Proe, like you said, with all pendants in the Dark World, you wonder if some of those normally hard-to-find items won't even come into play today.
Possible. Is Ice Rod going to be optional? That kind of thing. And obviously, most items cannot be optional because of just the way the game is structured. That said, there will be some interesting potential choices for our runners as this seed evolves.
And SirLinkalot heading down, going to check the library ledge. I'd say you're pretty happy with what you found in CAC.
Yeah, by and large. I was going to say no thank you to that red boomerang.
And a blind check here of the race game.
With the sword, I kind of get that. It's not quite as cumbersome to do. No, thank you, says SirLinkalot to a red shield.
And Willard having those same thoughts with the sword. Just go ahead and get the race game out of the way.
So, because Willard actually went to Sarsaparilla first, that does kind of change the equation slightly as far as what Willard's going to do next, just because has Shovel, so he's going to do that fetch quest, and SirLinkalot is setting up for Houlihan. Get those 225 rupees.
Ooh, and under the shovel is our hammer. That's Dark World access.
So a very nice find for WillardJBradley there. And yeah, so early on, Willard, just based on routing, has got a nice little cushion to work with here. He's got Dark World access now, so your early Dark World prediction has borne out, and he is putting that to good use right away. He's going to check Hype Cave and get a Dark World check. So we've got pendants at Turtle Rock, Thieves Town, and Ice Palace. The green pendant being Thieves Town.
Yep, and our 5-6 was Palace of Darkness and Skull Woods.
Hype Cave. Is it going to be hype? Well, there's a mirror. Just a Bombos in Hype Cave, so not really worth it. Unless Bombos is actually required. We don't know that yet. And it has... sorry, go ahead. No, carry on.
I see chat throwing the 1 out of 10, their disapproval of Hype Cave here.
Yeah. It's one of those long range plays. We're not going to really know its true value until we get a look at Meyer.
Well, fortunately, it is in a place that we fully expect SirLinkalot to make his way over to as well, so you hate to see something grabbed early that the other runner doesn't get a chance to see.
It picks up those $20 off the pyramid. Linkalot did get a red mail out of Mini Moldorm Cave and a little bit of love.
But just a heart container at Ice Rod Cave. Looks like we might be setting up for that water walk here, though.
I think so, yeah. Take care of all of that, since you've got the money to pay off Zora, and one has to wonder what else could you possibly get. I mean, we've gotten a lot of good stuff early, but
early catfish here. Don't normally see this play this early.
Not 10 minutes in, you don't. Willard is kind of going his own way with this. And, well, just a little bit of love there.
Now, for routing, it's a bummer that Willard hadn't grabbed the mirror, because he could have flipped it, although he doesn't have the money that SirLinkalot has. But we'll have to make his way up there.
That's a rich hobo.
Maybe he's just enjoying retirement.
Under a bridge, no less, but,
Oh, there's monsters everywhere else.
that is true. Hire a security firm with that kind of money.
Well, with that kind of money, SirLinkalot using the Moon Pearl so that he can get in and out to get an early autologic check of this waterfall cave here. But he's going to most likely go ahead and take that money right over to Zora and see what the big fish has for us today.
He's got enough to maybe bribe Zora into actually giving him something hopefully useful for once.
Now, SirLinkalot doesn't have that first lift upgrade, but this Zora check is in logic. He doesn't know that yet.
Right, he hasn't been to Sarsaparilla yet. Nothing on Zora Ledge that's worthwhile. Bernie Madoff special strikes again.
Seeing a theme in bad returns today.
Yeah. Only a 4% return this time. A lot getting that skip to go. Set up a the deal with the witch. I don't think we've seen that. I don't think we've seen that just yet.
No, that's correct. I don't think Willard's made his way up here. Not really a convenient way to yet.
Yeah.
Gonna take a reset and hold on to that mushroom.
Yeah, fake powder it.
And Willard having those same thoughts about checking up here with that fake flipper.
I think he's short though on money. Although the 50 on Zora Ledge actually will pay off. But he can't really do anything about it just yet. SirLinkalot now going to Sarsaparilla, gonna get that shovel and the power glove.
We'll see if he follows those breadcrumbs right over to what we know is his Dark World Access hammer.
And I would think so. It's gonna do back of escape first because that's easiest. Willard is gonna head up towards Death Mountain, do some clearing out there. In terms of crystals, Hera is probably the closest we've got to actually getting a crystal right now. You can clear it, though run the risk of fire lock for logic's sake, but nevertheless. Well, that takes care of that. Fire rod from the old man.
I'm going to say that's some gentle elderly advice to go head up this mountain and take care of Hera while you're here.
It also lends the question about fire sources, and there's a red sword at the top of Spectacle Rock.
And before making our way into any dungeons yet, we're going to be starting on Tempered Sword for WillardJBradley. Nice damage increase here.
Yeah, that's going to make boss fights a lot easier, and also a nice to know you don't have to worry about, spin sword slashes with Ganon.
And armed with that fire rod, WillardJBradley does indeed go into the Tower of Hera. Early enough on, he's going to pick up that heart.
I think he would have gone in regardless, but it's comforting to know that if the second item is in the basement, he can go get it, and he's going to head on up. SirLinkalot gets his hammer, so we'll see what he decides to do from here.
Now he'll be entering the Dark World with his mirror already, so be interested to see how his routing changes with that accessibility.
Mildly. He'll be able to check Cape 45 for sure. Outside of that, there probably isn't any immediate difference between the two. Okay, there's the second item, the Magic Cape. So, basement not required. Very nicely done by WillardJBradley, taking down Trolldorm there, and grabs the crystal at 1656 to get on the board.
And it looks like SirLinkalot is going to be making the choice to check out the Village of Outcasts.
And there's also Thieves Town, which is a green pendant, mind you, but with 4 items plus whatever Sasparilla's holding, like that might lead him. And front of Skull Woods is a pretty free check too. You can usually get something out of there.
And just some cash at the bottom of Spiral Cave. Willard taking that hammer to get access to East Death Mountain after Hera. He's going to be getting some nice amount of checks over here.
Yep, there's 7 more checks for him here. And should Titan's Mitt come up at any point here, that's a few more checks for him. There's a bottle. Sick Kid is now in play. flippers, the lamp. So, based on all of this, what, do we have a flute in Hyrule Castle or something?
Yeah, I saw chat calling for a flute in Zelda's cell, so with that lamp pole, we know that flute was our logical access up to Death Mountain. To grab the lamp and then go ahead back through the cave to rescue the old man. So be interested to see where that turns up. Willard knows it's somewhere.
Flute, chat pointing out, can also be inside Thieves Town. That is true. Sick kid has some love to give. There's the Titan's Mitt. So SirLinkalot gets a nice find there. Pearl was in Kakariko Village.
Get a look at Bumper Ledge here. Just arrows.
Just 10 arrows. It should be noted, in their first group play match, WillardJBradley was victorious over SirLinkalot. So, both players did finish 2-2 in group play. It is going to... Willard can do a full clear of Skullwoods because he has Fire Rod. With Red Mail and a Tempered Sword, doesn't really have to worry about weapons or defense. Willard about to get his mitts? Yeah, he's probably going to do the dungeon first and then get the mitts. Or get the crystal first and then get his mitts.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play. You know, coming in here with the fire rod, you know, you can eliminate some checks as you're going through from starting in the back. And just nothing on Graveyard Ledge.
Kind of a washout as far as that goes.
And we also saw that there was just a shield in King's Tomb.
Fire Rod, the old man had it. $20 in the C-shaped room.
And nothing on the chest minigame today. And we've got Willard going toe to metaphorical toe with Mothula. Takes him down with ease, armed with that Tempered Sword and Red Mail. He's going to grab the big key, so he'll be diving back into the dungeon. But he is going to get his second crystal, so at just over 22 minutes, WillardJBradley takes a 2-0 crystal lead.
He's really cooking right now on the items, based on the items he's picked up, between Fire Rod, Lamp, and Red Sword and all of that. Magic Cape even is looking really strong, and even the Titan's Mitt SirLinkalot, that advantage isn't going to last for a whole lot longer unless there's a terrible miscount.
Yeah, taking advantage of that sequence break up the mountain and really making the most use of everything he's found.
Yeah. So, insofar as where the big question now is, where's the flute?
You have any thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I think chat's got it right. It's either Thieves Town or Hyrule, front of Hyrule Castle. Well, and actually, that's not entirely true. It could still be in Eastern. It could be in Pod because of the early hammer. Moon Pearl combo, so...
I think it might be on Agina. I don't think we saw either of our players make that way over there.
Agina is also a possibility, you're correct. There is Titan's Mitt for Willard.
And SirLinkalot is looking to wrap up Thieves Town here. He is going to get rewarded with the green pendant, which has a check on it. And if there's something good there, WillardJBradley has a lot open to him. So, you know, that might be something Willard puts off for a while. So we'll have to see how this pans out.
Possibly. I kind of doubt it myself, just because there isn't a whole lot else he can clear at this stage. You know, if that flute were to turn up, that would open a few things, I suppose. But at this point, it's more about, I guess, just really trying to find that sort of way forward, because he knows he did a sequence break. Chad pointing out, flute on green pendant would be the worst for Willard. That is not ideal. No, that.
But, you know, that would be a bit of a time loss for him. But again, like you were saying, Pro-A, he'll eventually make his way to that. He won't put it off for very long if he can't find progression like that.
Yeah, I mean, unless the hook shot shows up and he kind of makes a divergence towards swamp or something, you know, eventually all roads will lead back to where it is. Very good, a very nice fight by SirLinkalot, and speak of the devil, and he shall appear. The flute is at blind.
Well, chat, you were half right. It wasn't on the green pendant, it was attached to the green pendant. And very convenient place to find that. Just going to flip over and activate it right here.
So all rise for the Hyrule National Anthem. Because of his loadout, Willard and actually SirLinkalot both can just run the gamut here on all the checks, Smith Chain, all of that. Looks like that's what SirLinkalot's gonna, or Digging Game and then Smith Chain.
Yeah, you're going to get this out of the way first because you can't bring the frog in. For some reason, This guy doesn't like to let anybody else play.
Pay $80 for one person, not two. Unless the frog can pay for himself.
Quite a few digs here today.
27 digs later to find that is your prize. Yikes. Chad is asking, is the green pendant enticing enough to clear TT? It's certainly on the table. He's going for the big key here. So, you know, he is committed to this, or he was. Wow.
Ooh, and you saw in the webcam there, he kind of threw the hand up, said, "Welp," and turned around. So, you gotta wonder how long that's gonna be burning a hole in his pocket.
Well, we're gonna find out. He's got enough forward progress to do some stuff, but he can't actually finish anything. That's the problem. Like, he can't finish Eastern. He can't finish Pod. He could go into Ice Palace, I suppose, but these aren't very good. These aren't exactly enticing choices.
And just getting a little bit of love from the Smiths. But with the flute, we're going to be able to check this purple chest. Although I think he may take this straight down. I don't believe he did the K45 check. I'm not sure.
No, he did not. Willard comes up with a blank there on the digging game and is now going to do the Smith chain along with SirLinkalot, who's now in the purple chest phase of this.
Yeah, now, even though Willard is going to be hurting for that flute for a bit, he does have a decent lead so far. You know, he's grabbed 2 crystals pretty early. He prioritized that progress. So, you know, it definitely has time to look around before he makes his decision. Just how long does it take?
Yeah. This does give SirLinkalot a chance to close the gap a bit here on Willard. Even though he has 0 crystals right now, it won't be long before he picks up the 2 that Willard already has in tow, and he's actually heading to Misery Mire, which is an interesting choice. There are some. He can't actually finish Desert. There's no fire source, but he can take a look. We got Ether at Mire, so.
Nothing good stored in the mired shed today.
Willard saying no thanks to the heart container with red mail and 10 hearts. I don't blame him. So SirLinkalot is going to take a look at Desert Ledge, and we have the final sword. So when SirLinkalot makes his way up to Death Mountain, he's going to have a gold sword.
Now, SirLinkalot making a dip in here, hoping he'll find a fire source to make it clearable, but we do know that he's not going to find the fire rod or the lamp in here.
He found he found a red item, I suppose, in the pedestal room, or the torch room, excuse me, and finds the big key there. Willard is going to check Agina, it looks like, and Desert Ledge.
Oh, and the small key's just going to send SirLinkalot right back over to the other side.
G Mario 37. He hasn't been. SirLinkalot hasn't been to Death Mountain yet. The 4th sword is on Ped Ledge. A spec rock. Excuse me. That. Been a day. Okay, that's both items. A lot figures it out. Don't know if Willard will bother with Gold Sword. Well, it's right there. I mean, in terms of routing, you know, it's so easily accessible. You might as well just get it. Just say you did. I mean, I don't know. Speaking from my experience, I guess, but oh, the hook shot. And SirLinkalot likes that. That's going to make some of his checks a lot quicker.
Yeah, with that hook shot, that might bring him up to Death Mountain, which we know is where he needs to start heading.
Yeah.
And we know this won't be the flute, like I was hoping it might be, but we are going to get this Agina Cave check. We might have seen this on Willard's side. I didn't catch it. Just a piece of heart.
Willard is going to do Doing the Hyrule checks. SirLinkalot did everything but the front of Hyrule Castle. SirLinkalot is on his way to Death Mountain, and he's going to be feeling pretty good by the time he's done doing all these checks. More to the point, he can actually do Dark Death Mountain on top of this, so he can do it. He can run a double here.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you how quick, something can turn up. And because when Willard was up here, we were thinking, boy, he's getting some early access to stuff. And now SirLinkalot going up there, like you said, with a little more optimum routing.
It turned out to be that way, and it was really more because SirLinkalot didn't have nearly as much as Willard did. SirLinkalot was more inclined to finish Thieves Town, which is a green pendant, than Willard. Willard only did the front side, and that has proven to be the difference at the 35-minute mark.
SirLinkalot not going to pass up that butter sword as he's making his way to Tower of Hera. And earlier on, SirLinkalot made the choice not to grab a shield, so actually at 35 minutes, we could be fully decked out. We have red mail, we have mirror shield over on WillardJBradley's side, and gold sword access. So
yeah,
well equipped.
Yeah, that shield was, I believe, in the race game, so... the Hera skip. Get it? He's just going to go up normally.
And Willard pulling a blue rupee out of the Dark Cross. See a little frustration on his face as he's wondering, where is this flute hiding out?
Yeah, it's let's see, looks like he's heading towards Hobo now. It's going to be 300 rupees richer, but not any happier.
Proving that money is not the source of happiness, once and for all.
Well, let's not rely on a 29-year-old game to be telling us that, now shall we?
And SirLinkalot making his way up to the top of Tower of Hera, going to take on his first crystal boss, going toe-to-toe with Moldorm. And both of our runners having very clean Moldorm fights. And at the 37.5-minute mark, SirLinkalot is inching closer to that lead that WillardJBradley had as he picks up his first crystal. Crystal count is 2 for Willard and 1 for SirLinkalot.
Yeah, and Willard's now in Ice Palace, and not all lost for Willard. Not by a long shot, but he really could use a bow showing up in here right about now.
Yeah, I was thinking bow or cane. Red cane. That might be something that we have to look around for too.
Yep. Either would be a big boost.
Pendant ice, that's a tough call.
Well, and it's kind of a curse, all this access you have. Choices have magnified to the point where it's like, you have almost too many, and it's leading you to think, well, what do I do?
Yes, for sure, lots of options, but we're hoping that this gamble, even though it's not going to be what Willard's hoping for, hoping that this gamble pays off for him too. Like to see a nice close race. And about halfway through Ice Palace, still nothing really turning up yet for him. The hookshot was in Checkerboard Cave. We've got a cane, but it is not the color we were hoping to see, as Willard pulls the blue cane out of the icebreaker room. Fits the theme of Ice Palace, keeping things cool.
Yeah, it keeps it cool, but it only adding to his levels of frustration, I think. This is not what Bombos opens up Turtle Rocks, so...
Yep, and our runners picked that up pretty early on, so if we do need to make a dip into there, we are good on medallion access. And we're going to get a look at Hookshot Cave here on SirLinkalot's side.
So, based on the board here, Linkalot's there's 2 items from Go Mode. Bow and Cane Endgame.
Yeah, permitted one of those isn't hiding in TR at the end.
Entirely possible, but we know what the end result is. Now we just got to go and bring it home.
And looks like SirLinkalot's going to close up his Death Mountain trip with a little Spike Cave check. Just some bombs in Spike Cave. Not worth all the pain.
Fortunately not. And now SirLinkalot has drawn even with Willard in terms of major items.
Might be seeing a Swamp Palace play.
Clearable. Why not? There's 6 items in there on top of that. Willard, with Bombos, destroys Cold Stare's barrier and uses a mix of Fire Rod and Tempered Sword to finish the job. Oh, the red cane is in Ice Palace.
So we have ourselves a game here.
Oh, boy.
A pair of canes in Ice Palace.
Yeah, that is huge. Unfortunately, that does not solve his immediate problem that the flute is still in Thieves Town.
Well, Willard J with a big gamble there, and it definitely paying off for him. You love to see it.
Absolutely. He had the early advantage, and even though he's still ahead on crystals, he had more or less ceded ground when SirLinkalot picked up the flute. But now with this, we know where one of the two go mode items that SirLinkalot has to get is.
Well, I will say, Pendant Ice, as tough as it is, he's going to come to a point where that's one of his only options. So can't get into TR without that cane.
That's true. On the other hand, he's gonna knock out 3 more crystals before he even considers that idea, because he can take care of desert, swamp, and Skullwoods without really having to break a sweat.
Yeah, and aside from not being able to go mode those dungeons, though, I don't mind it. Desert Palace, very short. Skullwood's the same thing. Gives you a chance to make progression, but also think about your next move when you are done with all that.
So SirLinkalot is going to skip left side for the moment. And see what is here. He's not going to do... He can't do the clip to get to glitch on the water there. Excuse me.
Yeah, that is it's a good point for time and efficiency. When Willard comes here, he'll be able to do that. I believe it's called the diver down. I think that's
Diver
right.
down, yes.
So SirLinkalot gonna have to take a couple of extra rooms to clear out the water here.
Linkalot finds the big key. He's going to backtrack. Oh, thank you, Chad. I forgot. Diver down can be done with bombs. Thank you. That.
And Willard making a pod play. He does have the hammer, so this is a little more attractive. I could understand, but he will eventually get bow locked, as you can't get to the end of this dungeon without the bow. Is going to use the potion glitch though to skip this first bow requirement.
So this will give him access to everything except the final part of a pod. Oh, SirLinkalot scores with the bow.
Well, with that, we know Willard won't be finding a bow here in pod.
All the
Our
crystals
runners.
Now. That's every crystal except Meyer.
Yeah, our runners just trading blows here, as SirLinkalot pulling an early flute, but then Willard J with a great play to Ice Palace to get the cane, and now in Swamp Palace we find that bow. Argus down on SirLinkalot's side. Very clean fight, making use of that butter sword to easily get through those puffs. And he's picking up his second crystal. He's tied on crystal count now, 2 apiece.
You can fully expect a run on the crystals now. But first, he's going to check left side and just assuage any concerns he might have.
And no shame at all. You have to do it. Missing just one item, you don't want to leave all this behind. While we do know where our go mode items are for both our runners, something that might come into play is if one of our runners is to stumble upon silvers while they're searching for what they need, and the other not, that could make a difference as we come down to the wire here.
Yeah, a minor one, but yes, given that they're already maxed out on swords, or will be in Willard's case, because again, given where the fourth sword for him is on a desert ledge, I can't imagine he's going to pass it up. Willard has seen enough of Pod. D. Rossi, the Cane of Samaria was at Cold Stare. So Cold Stare and Blind were holding key items. Right, Linkalot is done. That's 6 items.
And Willard now making his way into another bow lock dungeon to complete. We know he's not going to find that here. Just spending more time that he needs to be spending going back to Thieves Town to get that flute off of Blind.
Sick Kid Love puts him at 11 hard containers, even with Willard. That was just because it was right there. Now he's going to do Skull Woods. Hook shot was at Checkerboard Cave.
And as we see on SirLinkalot's side, he's just covering ground that we've already seen from Willard. There's nothing he's going to gain from this Skullwoods play except another crystal. And on Willard's side, as he continues to search through Eastern Palace, you hope to see the silvers pop up. Would definitely encourage him, but he's not going to find what he needs here either, as his bow and flute are not here. But as our runners continue and tensions mount, keep in mind this is a winner-take-all, as we are doing our tiebreaker race for their group today. Both of our runners went 2-2 in their group, and the winner of this is going to get to move on to the bracket stage. Pulling a vanilla big key chest on Willard's side. Going to go ahead and check that. And just some cash in the big key chest. So with a save and quit, let's see where Willard goes next.
Chad pointing out that, yeah, that's true. Bow is progressive, so we found one of the 2 bows in Swamp. The other one can be just about anywhere. That is true.
I apologize, I'd forgotten the bows were progressive in this rule set.
Whereas
Gonna get a fake powder here on Willard's side.
bow progressions. Let's see. We have just some bombs.
I don't know, I'd love your take on this, Pro A, but I feel like the bow would take him further away from what he needs.
Depends where he finds it.
This is a good sign. We're seeing him go ahead to that Village of Outcast Dark World portal.
Linkalot has seen enough. So let's see what Linkalot decides to do next. Activated his flute. Go for the double. Going for the double. Willard is finally going to head to Thieves Town. Now, the interesting thing is, once he does this and he gets his thing, he is going to be much closer, I think, sort of logically to go mode than SirLinkalot. Just depends on how long it takes SirLinkalot to go to Pendant Ice Palace, and it might be a while because, again, he's got 3 crystals he can take care of, and he's about to do 2 of them in a row.
Yeah, you can't blame him, though, for that. 2 fully clearable dungeons here that are crystals when your progression's sitting in Pendant Ice, but unfortunately that means he will be kind of conceding some of this lead time that he has as he's going to full clear both of these dungeons.
Tracker making a good point. Willard might do the double with Mire and Desert first, which is perfectly reasonable. He has that choice.
The bow was in Swamp Palace. Our only known bow was in Swamp Palace.
Is there anything? Yeah, Fluke cannot be in TR because both of the fire sources were in Death Mountain. I think. No, wait.
Yeah, our lamp was in, I think it was Paradox Cave, and the fire rod was on the old man, so you needed that Paradox Cave grab.
Right.
But as expected, Willard is about to take on Blind, and he will be very excited with what he sees. No doubt going to feel a little behind, though, when he sees that flute drop.
I was say, I don't think excited is exactly the word I'd be thinking of right now. I think like, oh, real. It's like irritated and, probably a little salty. It's like, because having to double dip for this and to find it, kind of rolled his eyes a little bit. He's like, of course. He's like, it was very slight, but he kind of rolled his eyes a little bit there, and I can't say I blame him.
A lot riding on this match, so you wanted to. He wants to go in, find everything he needs, and get out, and just go ahead and move on to the brackets. But
yep,
let's see how he takes that flute. Where he chooses to go next.
So he has to activate his flute, and then we'll see where he goes from here. Linkalot at the 1 hour, almost the 1 hour mark, leads 3-2 on the crystals, but Willard, who spent a long time without that flute, is starting to make a run here. Because he is 1 item from go mode.
And with that 1 item he's missing, important to note, he will come across it on his pathway of finishing this stuff off, whereas SirLinkalot is just missing 1 item as well. But he's got to dip Pendant Ice to find that, and go all the way to the end of it, because it's sitting on Cold Stare.
The only advantage that he has in that case is it's going to be a lot easier for him to do than it was for Willard. Willard was missing a few items.
Yeah, ice without hookshot, not fun.
Willard's 2 items from go mode, SirLinkalot is 1 item from go mode, but Willard's going to be a little easier to obtain based on the routing.
And without that cane, SirLinkalot's going to have to take a little bit of extra time to push this statue over. Not much, but, you know, these are races that can come down to seconds. And just as you thought, Pro A, he's going to grab that gold sword on WillardJBradley's side.
Yeah, it's right there. It's like there's really no reason not to get it.
And armed with gold sword and cape, when he has to make his way into Mire, no doubt he'll go there before grabbing that first bow we know about. With that gold sword and cape, kind of a negligible difference of not having the bow to go in there for Vitreous.
Yeah, it's no problem. You know, that's a pretty easy fight for runners of this caliber, and these are very fine players indeed.
Yeah, certainly can't be understated, the talent that's on display here. Both these runners, you know, taking what's been available to them and making some excellent decisions and efficient movement through all of this game so far. And the nice, as you see it right there, one cycle Lambo.
Well, that puts Willard with his third crystal at 1 hour 34 seconds. His first crystal in almost 40 minutes. 17 strikes with the hammer to break the mask, and SirLinkalot finishes the job. So 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second for SirLinkalot. Get his fourth crystal, and now he's going to turn around and do pod and go for his fifth. After this, it'll be desert, and from there, well, that's an open question. Okay, Willard found item number 2. He is done with desert. Heading to Checkerboard Cave, and he's going to now be 1 item from go mode.
You see similar to that flute pickup, a little bit of disgust on his face to think that this has been sitting here for a while.
Yeah, but I think, as you and some of Chad have pointed out, this psychologically has probably got him like really dedicated to the idea that Swamp has got to be it. Do Mire because it's right here and he can go 100% on it.
Bo was in Swamp, and actually something else that kind of goes towards that time save. Bo was on regular Swamp. It wasn't on left side Swamp. So he's going to be able to skip that too, which is minor, but a good time save when we have to total it all up in the end.
We keep talking about bows as if there's only one. There are progressive bows, but we know where one of the two is.
Yeah, and as chat pointing out, you know, Willard might feel behind because of that flute, but that ice play was really big.
And that put him back in control here because Ice Palace is a pendant, and it was at the very end of the dungeon with Cold Stare. So he is actually in very good shape right now. And SirLinkalot, while by no means in serious trouble, is by no means out of this, is in trouble because at some point he's going to have to make the Ice Palace play, and it's hard to say exactly what their positions will be when that does happen.
Yeah, and if another bow was to turn up along the way, Willard's still going to get that waterfall chest. So it's only going to push more to his favor.
More than likely he would make that play, yes. Cutscene time. SirLinkalot about to get crystal number 5. Trouble with the setup there with the Armus Knights. It's a blue bottle, that's not unwelcome. But not what he was looking for, is he gets his 5th crystal. Alright, so it's desert, and then... see what he decides. Well, his options are really... he really has no other option. He has to go to Ice Palace unless he wants to do overworld checks, because he can't actually set foot in Turtle Rock. You could do, I guess, most admire, but, you know, doesn't really want to.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation you pose there. You know, you stand at the gate. Do I go in here hoping it's in here, or do I dip Ice Palace, which I wanted to stay as far away from, I'm sure, when he saw it was a pendant.
SirLinkalot's actually going for Pyramid Fairy. Completes the set of medallions for Willard.
When Willard nudging that block off, he was trying to boots dash, but gets a beautiful setup second time, and he's already on his way through.
So, what is in the pyramid? Not a thing. SirLinkalot's heading into Hyrule Castle. This is one of the few things he hasn't checked.
The chat making a good point. SirLinkalot has already been over and taken care of the items in Desert. So probably won't be making his way over there till he finds what he needs to pair it with Meyer.
It's got to be a little careful here because he doesn't have a bow against Vitreous. So that opening round was a little dicey, even though he's got red mail. But with Gold Sword, a pretty easy fight. SirLinkalot's looking for the Cane of Samaria. You can't have Ice Rod because Turtle Rock is a pendant. Willard is indeed making a run for Swamp Palace.
see where SirLinkalot flutes to. Oh, he's in a good spot. This looks like it might be the Ice Palace dip. And
Yep.
as we've pointed out a few times, I think it's really important that he's looking for the cane and can't find that internal rock. That makes this choice a little narrower. He really doesn't have any other large, dense places to go.
So, depending on when they break it here, this could be really close in terms of go mode. It could be like really, really close. Again, SirLinkalot has hook shots, so that's going to make his navigation a little easier. Also depends how aggressive he is in this dungeon.
And on WillardJBradley's side, he's going to get to skip left side swamp. As saw chat maybe making fun of my choice, I called it regular swamp. I like they came up with diet swamp, so that's what I'm going to run with from now on.
Diet swamp?
Yeah.
In terms of the lead, it's very close. I'd say Willard is ever so slightly ahead, but it's not clear. Willard having done pod, I think, helps him a bit.
Yes, chat pointing out no cane for Icebreaker. Cane's at the end of this dungeon for SirLinkalot, so no one was going to get to have that trick happen today.
Oh, he didn't flip the switch. He didn't go for the bomb jump. Ooh. Yeah, he'll get his keys back, so he should be okay, but, Willard is skipping left side, and he is going to look like he's going to diver bomb this. Oh, no, he's got cane. Never mind. Duh. Good I said anything. Okay.
Interesting, though. Looks like he's going to take that big key back.
Yeah, because it's right there. And if it were in the other rooms ahead, he wouldn't have. If we were in the waterfall room, he wouldn't have done that.
Gonna reset up this diver down here. Nicely done.
Alright, so Willard is going to hit go mode first. Getting it at 112.31. Still a crystal behind. But that's not going to be true for very much longer.
And it's funny, both of their crystals are paired with each other. So Willard will be going for his remaining two at Palace of Darkness and Eastern, whereas SirLinkalot will be making his way to the other side of the map when he gets his go mode, and he's going to be able to pair Desert with Meyer.
Yeah, because the way SirLinkalot is routing this, it's going to be a little bit yet before he actually gets his Cane of Samaria, so I think this puts Willard in the lead.
And Willard grabbing his fifth crystal, going to be heading out of Swamp Palace with everything he needs to go ahead and finish the rest of the seed.
So the race is on. That slight miscalculation with the switches might be hurting him a bit. Getting his switches out of order. SirLinkalot, Willard did it correctly, SirLinkalot did not.
And unfortunately, as this is panning out, he's not in a position where he wants to be, you know, not moving optimally in any situation.
This is now a dead sprint. Actually, it's really been at one for the last, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes, but it really is true now. It's got the block set up, all good there. But Willard, as stated, already did this dungeon, so he has did everything else except the end here, so he has everything he needs to make a quick work of this. And see how he reacts to the news. Very quick fight. He's like, really? Alright, race is on. Willard is in the lead at this point. He's on his way to get crystal number 6. SirLinkalot has the double in play with Desert and Meyer, but he's not quite there yet. So 17 hammer strikes on the mask.
And down goes the Helmosaur King on WillardJBradley's side. That's going to be his 6th crystal. And we're going to see him mirror right over to Eastern to pick up his last crystal. Oh, and we see a bird toss on SirLinkalot's side.
Nice to see that they've gotten their crystals in completely different orders. I mean, the first crystal was the same, it was Tower of Hera, but since then, it's been very different. And for Willard, it's going to be Hera, Skullwoods, Desert, Myers, Swamp, Pod, and now Eastern. For Linkalot, it's Tower of Hera, Swamp, Skull, Pod, Eastern, and then either Meyer, and then Desert will be number 7. So, yeah, Willard, having already been in Eastern, has got an easy go of this. And, yeah, that big key is in its vanilla location, so SirLinkalot's going to have to do the cutscene bit. Willard will have double dipped 3 dungeons. Yes, he did. Thieves, Eastern, and Pod he did twice. Well, it's barely a double dip, but he did, you know, the front end of, he did the front, and then noped out of there when nothing really came of it.
Well, he was in Thieves Town for a second and just decided to turn around. That was,
yeah,
I'm sure that's weighing on his mind.
He poked his head in for a minute. Got hit there by the Armis Knights, so the setup's a little off. That's 7 crystals.
And WillardJBradley getting ready to head into Ganon's Tower at 1 hour, 19 and a half minutes. And as we see the numbers going in chat, you might be wondering, what is all this counting we're doing? That's right, there are 22 locations where Ganon's Tower's big key could be. So if you want to get your guesses in chat, somewhere between 1 and 22. And we will be using WillardJBradley's routing, because he's going to be the first player in there. And once he gets in, we're going to be closing the bets. So, Pro A, do you have an idea of what number you'd like to see pop up here?
I'll say 11.
You took it. I always like to go
did?
11. I'll go with 4. I'll go with 4 today.
I swear I wasn't even thinking of Spinal Tap.
Yes, my guesses go up to 11. Yours don't.
You don't want to make a habit out of these things, honestly. 8-bit console tree fitty. Well, that's a slightly different answer.
And make sure, if you haven't gotten your guess in, go ahead and get it in quick, as Willard is approaching the front door.
Gold sword is great and all, but I'm just using arrows at this point. But what do I know? But arrows with plenty for Vitreous, and there it goes. $112.15 for Linkalot. He is 121.15. Excuse me, not 112. What the hell am I saying? So, item number 1 is a key.
Gonna get a look at our second check.
It was a small key. 3 is a small key.
All the keys, but not the one we're looking for. Oh, there goes my guess. 4 just a piece of heart. And silver arrows on the way. He's not going to be mad he picked that up. That's check number 5.
Oh.
To give you a sense of the difference here, WillardJBradley entering Ganon's Tower as SirLinkalot picks up his 6th crystal.
This is looking very good. That's 6 items for Willard. Kind of doing some Dark Magician here. 7 is our bombs. 8 is literacy.
If only we could read. Skipping tile room, as to be expected.
We can always hope for 22, can't we?
Saw some tile room plays early on in some GT routing. I believe it was yesterday.
People cheering on for said tile room. And SirLinkalot has the final crystal at 1:22:59. Almost 4 minutes behind. 9, nope. 10.
No for 11 or 12, so I wouldn't have been right anyway.
Yeah, well. So Willard, having come up empty on both, is now going to finish the left side.
So there's still a gap here. Oh, taking the fall right there. There's still a gap here, but a full left side routing from SirLinkalot could narrow this down a little bit if it doesn't end up being in tile room.
Yeah. The problem is he's in really dire straits at this point. He really needs a major mistake from Willard to really close the gap here, even if he routes this absolutely perfectly.
I believe that was 13.
That's 13. Is the compass, 15 are bombs, 16, 17, so we got 4 items, we got 5 items left, 5 chests left.
And Willard may feel on his own that he's in some dire straits, but he just grabs some money for nothing.
Zero all night, folks.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, merciless in chat. And no, we see SirLinkalot going right side.
I'm going to resist joining in on this, these dad jokes, if you will. So with Silver's nice movement there. All right. Is it tile room? Oh, 20 is the correct answer.
Looks like we had some correct guesses. Congratulations, you win some points on the internet. Clearly, I've angered with the Dire Straits joke. I promise I'll only make them a lot more now that I know that. Chat pointing out the lack of ice rod. I actually like to see a race that doesn't have an ice rod hunt. It's one of those things that you just see it all the time, and it can be so many places that, you know, something like this game, you saw such drastic divergence in routing based on what was found, and ending up with, you know, still a pretty close match. WillardJBradley certainly in the lead here, but, you know, for all the options, all the places they could have gone, you know, they both navigated what they had in front of them, I think, quite effectively. And we're going to see Lammo 2. Should be considerably easier with these silver arrows. And indeed, we see the nice one cycle WillardJBradley side. Nice Kana Samaria strats to take care of those whiz ropes. And SirLinkalot is just an Ice Armos fight away from picking up his big key.
Yeah, Willard is almost finished with the full gauntlet here. Done a terrific job in what has been a really interesting topsy-turvy race, I must say. Both players making very good calls, but Willard's expedition into Ice Palace turned out to be the difference maker.
Yeah, for sure. It was a big play, and it paid off well for him.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, too, because he made that play relatively early on, and he did spend a lot more time searching for some stuff. But what he was looking for was just a little more along the beaten path.
So, see how nice Aga is. So on my race yesterday, we had a cycle, single, double, triple. Get that again. We got 1 and 1. There's a triple.
Very nice.
A 1-1-3-1.
Not bad at all.
So silver, gold sword. This is going to be really quick for Willard. So nice one cycle there from SirLinkalot on the land mows.
And Willard drops down into his Ganon fight. Like we said, we're running full equipment on this one, full defense, so this should be a pretty quick fight.
6 strikes per round. 6 strikes for the first 2 rounds. With gold sword, very simple. Good cycles here. Try and gonna get one strike. Nice long-range shot to get the torch glitch, and that will do it.
And with this bridge cross, we'll be able to get our GGs in chat for WillardJBradley, who's going to take this one and move on.
Finishes with an official race time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, 39 seconds. GG's to WillardJBradley.
GG's indeed. And while we see that finish, we've got Moldorm 2 down on SirLinkalot's side. He's going to be making his way up to Aga 2, finishing just a little bit behind. But again, with the decisions they made, all good choices and excellent routing and execution. It was interesting, too, as we were watching this go through. That flip of who was in the lead was just so back and forth for that middle portion.
Yeah, they got just one there. Yeah, as it turned out, the middle game is what got Willard back into this.
Yeah, just missing that triple, but grabbing a double there to finish Aga. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, 1-1-2-2. So yeah, so Willard will be moving on to the final 32 here in this tournament. This should be pretty quick for SirLinkalot, as it was with Willard. Has everything he needs to make this a very quick fight.
Yes, we've been armed to the teeth pretty early on in this one.
This was not lacking for equipment in terms of what they needed, and certainly got their money's worth.
Nice and clean phase 2. Moving on to phase 3 here.
Three. That will make 4. Nice job with the torch glitch. Couldn't quite get the double there. Gonna have to just reset, and that will do it for SirLinkalot. Okay, it didn't fall over the edge. It didn't fall over the edge. We had that happen yesterday.
Oh, waiting on the bridge.
So, SirLinkalot finishes with an official race time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, 43 seconds. So,
GG's indeed.
Runners should be coming in for an interview in a second. Do give our runners a follow if you haven't already, and if you're so inclined, give us a follow as well. Me, my co-com, and our tracker Vel for doing a fine job today.
And we're going to have our interviews with our runners in just a few moments coming up after this quick break.
All right, and we welcome our 2 competitors of this most entertaining and back and forth race, SirLinkalot and WillardJBradley, to the chat. GG's.
Yo, GG's.
GG's.
GG's to both of you.
Before I even start, I just want to give a huge shout out to SirLinkalot for doing basically 4 seeds in 2 days, nearly back to back. That's not easy to do. So, You're awesome.
So
I guess I'm a little relieved that I didn't make brackets for Link to the Past Randomizer, as bad as that sounds, because I'm already part of the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer bracket, so it's like I had the potential to be in 2 of the main tournaments, and it's just like, okay, if it happens, it happens. But yeah, it's like after this many seeds between the 2 games in like 6 days, I'm just like, if I miss one, I'm not going to be devastated at this point.
Well, I suppose your brain is just a little fried at this point.
Link to the Past wise, yes, they definitely. Final Fantasy 1, my last race was Monday, so I've kind of had some rest and recovery on that one.
Okay. Well, this seed really came down to the 2 pendant bosses. SirLinkalot, you had the flute very early on. You committed to the Thieves Town play, and that puts you in pretty good shape early on. And Willard, your decision to do the Ice Palace pendant and go all the way there kind of swung the race back in your favor. I guess, Willard, I know you made the early Thieves Town play. How much was it nagging on you that you had left the back of Thieves Town in the open like that?
Not so much yet. I mean, of course, that's always a gamble to leave stuff behind there, especially when it's green pendant. But because of how I routed the early game and got Darkworld access really silly early because of that straight to Sahasrara's Hut play, I still had a lot of stuff I could do. So that wasn't really something I was thinking about. And then there's always in the back of my head, like, Pod and Eastern. And then after sequence breaking up Death Mountain and basically determining where my flute was going to be, I was like, okay, it's either in one of these overworld spots, it's in Thieves Town, or it's in portions of Pod or Eastern. And I was like, but I'm going to go to Ice Palace. Because if I can find a bow, then that would be huge for routing purposes.
Yeah, and because of the way SirLinkalot ended up routing it, got hookshot and bow much earlier than you, and was literally a cane away from Gomo, but SirLinkalot how worried were you that it was going to be an ice palace, and was that kind of like that foreboding kind of keeping you away from it, or is it more about just clearing what you could?
I mean, for me, it wasn't. I guess it was more. I had crystal dungeons on.
Mhm.
It's just like, to me, I'm like, I'm not going to dive a pendant dungeon when
Right.
crystal dungeons I need a full clear, because pendant dungeon, if there's nothing there, is a literal waste of time. If it's in the crystal dungeon, at that point I'm at go mode. If not, if Willard went in there at earlier than me, he probably didn't have the item, so he's gonna have to dip, or he's probably full clearing it as well. Because unless the only place that was actually I was concerned about Samaria being was where it's like I would have felt behind if it was there. Would have been Catfish was the only one, just because it was so early, or accessible so early, and I never touched it.
We actually did see that really early Catfish play on Willard's side.
I think it was a little piece. I think it was just a piece of heart.
Yeah, you didn't miss out.
Right. Yeah. In terms of items, neither of you missed out. I mean, we had 4 swords, I think, in 30 minutes for SirLinkalot.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was a tough seed, because after clearing pretty much all the overworld, like, my decisions were pendant ice, finish pendant green pendant thieves, or dip eastern pod without bow, and none of those plays sound good. And I'm glad I dipped ice, obviously, because that saved me, honestly. Well, actually, I mean, at the time I was probably fine. It allowed me to dip eastern pod looking for a bow or the flute without feeling too bad, because I had a feeling that SirLinkalot would more than likely end up full clearing swamp, all of Dark Death Mountain, do Pyramid Fairy, do all that stuff that would balance out my forced double dip of eastern pod.
There were a few overworld checks, Pyramid and front of Hyrule Castle, around the 60-65 minute mark that did start to tilt the balance just a little bit back towards your favor. Ice Palace for Kane turned out to be I think the turning point, and that's when the race started, I think, to turn in your favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would argue that Samaria bailed me out. So
yeah,
cold steer good for once, I guess. But it was a good race. It was a tough one.
Yeah, no, it was a very good race, and it's funny that 2 of the 3 required items are on pendant bosses. Who knew?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think what was awesome about it was being that tiebreaker pressure, seeing the lead go back and forth so many times. You had that sequence break up Death Mountain, great play, but then while you're searching around, we see SirLinkalot find the flute, and then you stop your crystal rush and he starts his, and then it flips back and forth, so it was just awesome to see that kind of neck and neck play.
And that's why I never want to go back up to Dark Death Mountain to do like Super Bunny, because if I did, and especially with Samaria, then I might be like tempted to waste time hovering Hookshot Cave, or failing to hover Hookshot Cave, or dipping into T-Rock. Until I got the flute, I was hoping, at that point I was feeling really behind, so I was hoping that the bow or Hookshot would be like in T-Rock or on Vidi. So then when I immediately see Hookshot, I'm like, ooh, okay, well, this is scary. So I'm very glad that I went straight to Swamp after that, because that bow being in there kind of was like, all right, we got a race. This is fine.
I think that was the other... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, carry on.
The other thing that swung in your favor was, at that point, your go mode was in line with what you were going to be doing anyway, whereas SirLinkalot still had to make that trip out to
and that's a tough choice to make. A pendant dive that late, like, it never feels good.
Yeah, that was there were at least 4 major lead changes in this race, and fairly bunched together. So it was most entertaining, and congrats, Willard, on advancing to the brackets.
Thank you so much for commentating.
Yeah, thank you. And SirLinkalot, a tough loss and tough way to go out, but a very entertaining and very well executed race.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like terrible because it's not like the race that Willard and I had yesterday. I just made like poor decision after poor decision, and I still had 2 crystal dungeons to clear when he finished. So it's just like we were talking before the race. It was just like whatever happens, let's just give him a good show. And 3 minute, was just over a 3-minute race. So it's like I feel like we delivered on that, especially with the tiebreaker, the pressure, and everything like that. So everybody's even more hyped for the race. So hopefully we delivered on that at the very least.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
I'm glad.
Oh, for sure.
Glad we got a restream. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
People that put that together. Good luck in the FF1 rando, SirLinkalot. Go get some money, dude.
I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get knocked out immediately, so I'm sorry.
And
very entertaining race to watch. GG's to both of you, and good luck to both of you as you move on. You guys have definitely worked hard and deserve the success.
So coming up next is actually my tournament. A most entertaining and exciting match awaits at 6:05 Central, 7:05 Eastern. We have the defending champion of the Mario 3 Randomizer tournament, Mitch Flowerpower, taking on the bronze medalist from said tournament, Paradox 64, in what should be a very entertaining and very contentious and competitive match between 2 of the finest Mario 3 Randomizer players around. So if you enjoy Mario 3 and you enjoy Rando, you do not want to miss this best of 3 match. So thanks again to 329th in line for joining me. Thanks to Vel for doing a great job with the tracking as always, and thanks and a shout out to SpeedGaming for hosting this and for putting on this event. So thanks all for watching, and get ready for some Mario 3 action.